Classes at night. Vinwood Cellars offered Jennifer various winemaking methods. Since each winemaking client uses the plant, had different techniques and winemaking styles. Vinwood Cellars was eventually sold to Kendall Jackson. In 1993, the original principals of Vinwood Cellars created a new company and offered to Jennifer as a position as lab director and the opportunity to work firsthand in the establishment of a lab and protocol for a brand new winery. In that position, Jennifer assisted and trained master winemaker Kerry Damsker, who had been an accredited winemaker in Sonoma County since 1985 and was also the two-time recipient of Sonoma County Harvest Fair Sweepstake Award. During the harvest of 1995, Jennifer started a career as a winemaker for Barefoot Cellars Winery. At that time, Barefoot was only producing 4 varietals: California Cabernet Sauvignon, California Chardonnay, California Cabernet Sauvignon, and California White Zinfandel. That year ended with Barefoot Cellars Winery selling 140,000 cases. Jennifer continued as the sole winemaker for Barefoot Cellars for 10 years until the brand was acquired by the Gallo family in 2005, at which time the brand was selling over 600,000 cases annually in 48 states and 16 countries. Today, Jennifer continues her work on the Barefoot brand as sales soar with the support of the Gallo family. In 1996, as Barefoot Cellars became a national brand, Jennifer decided to extend the California range, adding Barefoot brand California Zinfandel, and then they released a Barefoot California, you can see,
and everything else.
And everything else. In the summer of 1998, 18 months prior to the Millennium Celebration, they released Barefoot Bubbly Extra Dry California Champagne. By New Year's Eve 1999, remember that was the year before the Millennium.
Yep.
People across the nation were getting Barefoot Bubbly and having a great time. Barefoot Cellars sold 15,000 cases of Barefoot Bubbly in 1999. Later, Jennifer released the Barefoot Bubbly Brut Cuvée Champagne, a drier style, which was offered at the same affordable price point as the extra dry California Champagne. Just prior to harvest in 1998, they released a 1997 Barefoot Reserve Sonoma Country Chardonnay. The Barefoot Reserve program was a new concept with a higher price point, and the wines were crafted using specialized winemaking techniques. Then came Pinot Noir.
Yeah. And we don't make the reserve wines anymore, so
okay.
It's okay.
Jennifer has received over 20 medals for her wines, including many gold and double medals. In 2002, she received the outstanding rating of double gold, best in class, at the California State Fair for their Chardonnay, and was awarded best in show at the New Orleans Wine and Food Experience for her Alexander Valley Merlot. When she's not making wine, selling wine, and drinking wine, she's with her family and volunteers her time to Junior Achievement and the Alyssa Ann Roach Byrne Foundation. So please give a warm welcome and lick your tongues and cheeks.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. We're really thrilled and here. My name is Jennifer Wall, and I'm also known as Pinky Toe. And before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to our other fellow barefooters, and we call people who work on the Barefoot brand Barefooters. We have Shay, and her barefoot name is Turf Toe. We have Phil back there in the orange shirt, and he's Leadfoot. And we have Brittany, who's soulful and smiles. So thanks for joining us today. We're thrilled to be here. We had the opportunity to do this in 2009 at the Coconut Grove Arts Festival, and we, again, are very honored to be here and join you today. So in order to get this party start with some Barefoot Bubbly Brut Cuvée, what we're going to end up doing throughout the course of this hour is we're going to talk about the Barefoot wines, the Barefoot wine history, and then we're going to have a signature cocktail blending session where you can make some fun cocktails with some easy to find ingredients and just another way to have some fun with wine and champagne. So right now, the ladies will be pouring or passing around some Barefoot Bubbly Brut Cuvée. And our Barefoot Bubbly Brut Cuvée is the driest of our 6 champagnes. Our bubblies are called Barefoot Bubbly. They're California bubblies. And the Barefoot Brut Cuvée is a Chardonnay champagne. It's always a fun sound. Get your sample of your Barefoot Bubbly Brut Cuvée. You'll notice that it has really beautiful aromas and flavors of green apple and a little citrus. It's vibrant on your palate, and it's just really crisp and easy to drink. The finish is very clean, very light, and just a wonderful way to start any sort of celebration like today. So cheers to all of you. Thanks for joining us in the wine pavilion or the food pavilion. You should have yours in a moment. You have yours. Great. Perfect. Cheers. All right. What do you guys think about that? Isn't that nice? All right. So this is our most traditional champagne, the Brut Cuvée, made with Chardonnay grapes. That's how they do it in France. Then we have the next wine that I'd like to talk to you about sparkling wine, is our Barefoot Bubbly Pinot Grigio. The Barefoot Bubbly Pinot Grigio is unique because it's the only champagne made from Pinot Grigio grapes from California. So there's no other Pinot Grigio Bubbly coming out of California. And this is really exceptional. It has a lot of jasmine and green apple and pear flavors. It has a lot of fruit. It's just really lovely. And we'll be using this in a little while to make one of our signature drinks, which we call the Pommes Grigio. We blend it with some pomegranate juice. So that's a lot of fun. Next, in our Barefoot Bubbly line of wines, we have our Barefoot Bubbly Extra Dry. Now, the Barefoot Bubbly Extra Dry is also a Chardonnay champagne, but the residual sugar is a little bit higher, which means it's just a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit creamier. It has a rounder mouthfeel than the wine that you just tasted. Then we move on to our Barefoot Bubbly Rosé, and it's made with Pinot Noir grapes, which is also another traditional champagne grape. And we have our Barefoot Moscato Spumante, which is actually drier than most Spumantes in its competitive set. And you'll see as we walk and taste through the wines that actually most of our wines are a little bit drier. And the reason we do that is because drier is often more food friendly. So this actually pairs very, very well with lots of different foods. And then last but not least, and this is the next wine that we're going to taste, sparkling wine or California champagne, whatever you like to call it. This is our Barefoot Bubbly Pink Moscato. And this is exciting. Yeah, are you excited? Yeah, I'm excited. I love the Barefoot Bubbly Pink Moscato. Thank you. Thanks. So the Barefoot Bubbly Pink Moscato is a blend of Moscato and white Grenache. And the white Grenache is what gives it this beautiful pink color. And while I'm opening this and while everybody's passing out the champagnes, I'd like to mention to you that opening a bottle of champagne doesn't have to be scary, but you do have to be careful. So when you are opening a bottle of champagne, make sure that you put your finger over the cork and the wire hood that I just removed during the entire process. Untie the wire cork, lift the wire cork, put your finger back on the cork, and then gently pop it out. Don't ever point it towards somebody's face, eyes, or body. It does come out at 40 miles an hour, so this is absolutely lovely. It's absolutely lovely. We just released this at the end of last year. We're very excited about it. It has all the traditional Moscato flavors and aromas. It has the tangerine, the mandarin orange, the lime, but then it has the red fruit that makes it even more exciting. It has a little cherry, a little pomegranate flavors and aromas. Just that deep red fruit enhances the Moscato flavors and aromas, and it's just beautiful in your mouth. What do you guys think? Isn't that nice? Yeah, I love it. I recently did a winemaker dinner at a restaurant in New York, and as the final course, we paired this with a cheesecake with some raspberry drizzle on it, and it was just absolutely lovely together. So this is actually fun to enjoy with dry cheeses, white cheeses, fruits. It's fun to enjoy with spicy cuisine, Asian cuisine. It's also fun to enjoy with sorbets and any sort of dessert that has some sort of citrus in it. It's just really fun and lovely. So I love this wine. So now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to move into our still wines. We make two distinct sets of wines. We have our sparkling wines, and we have our still wines. The difference between sparkling wine, or champagne, and still wine is that the sparkling wines go through a process that we call secondary fermentation. Primary fermentation, the process of making wine, is when you take grape juice, you add yeast, the yeast eat the grape juice or the sugar in the grape juice, and the byproduct is alcohol. And for secondary fermentation, we repeat the process, but in a pressurized environment. And that's what creates the bubbles in the sparkling wine or the champagne. So now, as we move into our still wine set, I encourage you to take a little sip of water just to clean your palate. And as I'm opening this, the first wine that we're going to taste, I should mention to you that Barefoot Bubbly is widely available. It's available in all 50 states across the nation. It's available in independent markets and chain markets, and it can be found for approximately $10 a bottle, which is a great screaming deal. You like that? Even better, Barefoot Bubbly is the most highly awarded sparkling wine in the United States under $20. So you know you're getting a good deal when you buy a bottle of Barefoot Bubbly. All right, so as you taste the Pinot Grigio, I think you'll find that it's light, it's floral, it's fruity, it's crisp, and refreshing all at the same time. I travel across the United States and talk to folks about this wine, and everybody across the United States calls it patio wine. It's warm outside, it's refreshing, it's crisp, and it just tastes good. And what's great about Pinot Grigio is Pinot Grigio actually pairs well with a lot of different foods. So we actually have a little snack for you to enjoy while you're tasting your Pinot Grigio. Barefoot Pinot Grigio is actually the #1 selling Pinot Grigio in the United States right now. And it's blended with a little bit of floral Moscato to give it that fruit lift. And it's just easy to drink, has nice viscosity, mouth texture and feel, and has a nice lingering finish. What do you guys think? Yeah? I just cheers my headset here. Fantastic. Did everyone get some Pinot Grigio? Does anyone have any questions so far? We'll have an opportunity to do questions at the end. Wow. Okay, so I'd like to talk a little bit about the Barefoot history. Barefoot actually has a long and fun history. Barefoot was created in the 60s in 1965 by a gentleman named Davis Bynum. He created the brand in his garage in Alameda County, which is an area just east of San Francisco. And he named the label, or the brand, Barefoot in honor of the way grapes were originally stomped and wines were originally made. And it was very, very popular for about 10 years. But Davis Bynum had a passion for high-end Pinot Noirs. So he closed the Barefoot operation and moved to the Russian River Valley. And the brand actually lay dormant for about 10 years until he sold the brand to a gentleman named Michael Houlihan. So in 1986, Michael Houlihan and his partner Bonnie Harvey relaunched the brand. And for them, the Barefoot logo was a little bit different. The icon meant something different to them. It meant they were carefree. They were just relaxed, kicking back and having a glass of wine. Everything's just a little bit better Barefoot. And that's how our casual style of talking about the wine has come about today. We think it's very, very important to be casual and easygoing about wine. Wine doesn't have to be pretentious. It doesn't have to be scary. You don't have to worry about what you're buying and what you're serving it with. And quite frankly, if you like it, drink it. And if you like drinking it with what you're eating, then do so. There's not a perfect pairing for everything. So the important thing is that you buy what you like and serve what you like to your family and friends. Did everyone get a snack? Good. Now, does everyone have the Chardonnay? Yeah? Okay. So this is one of my favorite Barefoot varietals. I love the Barefoot Chardonnay. What I like about it is that it is creamy, has a hint of oak, but the varietal characters stand out. So it's important for me to mention that very distinct wine style that permeates through all the different wines that I make. And it's varietally correct, food-friendly, and fruit-forward. And what this means, what does varietally correct mean? What it means is we want the wine in the glass to reflect the flavors and the aromas of the grapes in the vineyard right prior to harvest, right when they're the ripest and the juiciest and we're right about to pick it. That's what we want the wines to taste like. So that's what varietally correct is. They're not altered. We want the varietal to speak before the alcohol, the residual sugar, the oak, any alcohol, any of those influences. We want the fruit to stand out first. So that's very, very important. So the next thing I mentioned was fruit forward. And again, varietally correct and fruit forward kind of mesh together. They're symbiotic in that we want the fruit to speak first. We want someone to say, wow, I get the pineapple, I get the apple, I get, a little jasmine, whatever you're smelling or tasting in your wine. We want those fruit characteristics that are coming directly from the grape to come first before you say, wow, this smells like a lot of oak. Wow, this smells hot, like it has a lot of alcohol. So that's very, very important. And the last thing I mentioned was food friendly. So we craft all of the Barefoot wines to be food friendly. And what that means for us is that we want the wines to pair well with food. So we don't add a lot of residual sugar. We don't add a lot of other stuff into the wine. We want them to be clean, natural, and we want people to enjoy them with food responsibly. That's not to say the wines don't taste great alone, because they do, as you can see. But it's just that the wines are definitely crafted to serve with food as well. So cheers. Can you get the creaminess in the wine? It's much different than the Pinot Grigio. Can you tell? Great. Super. All right. We're moving right along here. Okay, so I started talking about the Barefoot history, and I'll continue talking about the Barefoot history. So Michael Houlihan and Bonnie Harvey relaunched the brand in 1986 with a 1.5-liter magnum of Cabernet Sauvignon and Sauvignon Blanc only. And they built the brand for 20 years until it reached almost 600,000 cases a year nationally, at which time they sold the brand to the E&J Gallo family, a family winery that has been in existence since 1933. And with the help of the E&J Gallo family, the Barefoot brand has been able to have a wonderful motto that we like to say, that we're making the world a better place through wine. And how do we do that? How do we make the world a better place through wine? Well, Barefoot doesn't use any traditional advertising. We don't do standard wine spectator ads. We don't like billboards. We don't do TV commercials. What we do is we put our marketing dollars behind nonprofit and charity organizations across the United States. Last year, we participated in over 3 events and helped those charity and nonprofit organizations raise over $30 million. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, it's exciting. So we have this dedicated team of people that we call Barefooters, like Shay and Phil and Brittany, and they're dedicated market specialists, and they go in communities and they meet people who run charities and nonprofits, and they help them raise money for their worthy causes, and they sample our wines, and we make Barefoot friends for life. And that's what we do. So that's what I mean when I say that we're making the world a better place through wine. Isn't that cool? So now we're moving from our white wines into our red wine. And before we move into, I know she's passing it out, so that's great. You're getting your Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is a lighter style wine. But I should mention that Pinot Noir is a wine that you can actually chill down a little bit, particularly in an environment like this where it's a little bit hot and muggy. It's kind of nice to stick your red wine in the refrigerator about 20 minutes before you're going to serve it. Just put a little chill on it, and it actually is fairly refreshing. So I hope you like this. This is a very traditional styled Pinot Noir. As you can see, it's not a robust wine. It's not like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Shiraz or even a Merlot. It's a lighter style red wine. It's beautiful. It's silky. It's smooth, just like a Pinot Noir should be. Has flavors of cherry and cola, a little bit of raspberry. And it's just lovely. And what's nice about Pinot Noir is it's a good compromise when you're going out with someone who somebody likes red and somebody likes white. It kind of, everybody can almost settle on a Pinot Noir, so that's a lot of fun. So let's talk about temperature for a moment, because I just mentioned that you can stick the temperature, you can stick the Pinot Noir in the refrigerator 20 minutes before you pop your bottle of Pinot Noir. I'm going to take a little sip first. Fantastic. I love that. All right. So let's talk about temperature. There are certain guidelines that you want to follow when you're serving wines and champagnes. They're guidelines. They're not steadfast rules, but these are the guidelines that I like to go by. When serving champagne, you want to serve it at about 36 degrees. Your refrigerator at home is about 38 degrees. That's kind of a standard setting. Mine's at 36 because I want my champagne to be ready to pop at any given moment. But it also obviously takes a little bit more energy to run your refrigerator at 36 versus 38. Personal choice. So 36 degrees for the champagne. How do you get your champagne to 36 degrees if it's in a refrigerator that's 38? My favorite recommendation is a wine slurry, or a water slurry. So take an ice bucket, fill it up with ice halfway, dump some water in it, make a slurry, put your champagne in there. In 20 to 30 minutes, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's the easiest way. So what if you don't have a wine bucket? What if you have too many bottles of bubbly to chill for a wine bucket? That's really the problem, right? Okay, so the kitchen sink method. Tried and true. Everybody has a kitchen sink. Who doesn't have a kitchen sink? Everybody. You don't have a kitchen sink? So the kitchen sink method's great. You just fill up your kitchen sink with halfway up with ice, put some water in it, put your 6 or 7 bottles of bubbly right before your friends come over, and you're good to go. So white wine. The rule of thumb with temperature with white wine. You want to take your white wine out of the refrigerator 20 minutes before you serve it. Red wine, you want to put your red wine in the refrigerator 20 minutes before you serve it. And then there's a whole new segment of wines, and we're going to be talking about that in a minute. Sweet red and red Moscato, chillable red wines. Treat them like white wines. Keep them in the refrigerator and take them out 20 minutes before you're going to serve them. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on wine. So how do you like the Pinot Noir? So we have 13 still wines. I mentioned we have 6 bubblies. We're not going to get through all of them today, but we do have a wine tent out here, so anything that you'd like to come and sample, we're happy to serve you and talk about the wines with you after this segment. We invite you to come and join us and get barefoot and have a great time. I think it's important for you to know that the still wines are also available nationally, but they're even a better price than the champagnes. The still wines are available for about $7. All of the wines. They're line priced. Even the Lodi Zin, it's Lodi appellated. Lodi is one of the best growing regions in the world. No. So I just used the word appellated. What does appellated mean? It's a form of the word appellation. Appellation is where the grapes are grown. And where the grapes are grown absolutely 100% affects the flavor and the aroma and the outcome of your wine. So the Lodi is a great grape appellation, particularly for hotter climate grapes like Cabernet, Zinfandel, Petit Syrah. So all the Barefoot wines are from California. We grow grapes all over the state of California. The Pinot Grigio is grown in the Delta region because it has a cooler climate influence. So each region is specific to the grape, and that's very important to realize. So we should have the Cabernet in front of them, right? Okay, so you have chocolate. The chocolate's for the Cabernet, by the way, not the Pinot Noir. That's but that's fine. So we're going to move into our more hearty and robust wine, which is our Cabernet Sauvignon. It's rich, it's velvety, it's concentrated. People use the word jammy. Has Petit Syrah blended into it. It's just delicious. And Cabernet Sauvignon pairs well with lots of foods. If you're thinking about appetizers, Cabernet Sauvignon and appetizers, you know, sausage stuffed mushroom would be fantastic. A filet, I mean, who doesn't like Cabernet and a filet? And then chocolate, and that's why I asked everyone to have some chocolate today, because I thought it would be really fun to taste the Cabernet with the chocolate. And it's really fun because you really start to see that wines are wonderful alone, but they can be enhanced with if you choose specific foods to eat with your wine. Have you tasted the chocolate and the wine together? What do you think? You like it? I do too. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Cheers. So our winery is in California. I mentioned that we're a California winery. Ooh, that's good. We are based in Modesto. That's where we bottle our champagne and our still wines. Modesto is a little town about 125 miles southeast of San Francisco. And south of Modesto, another 30 miles, is a little town called Livingston. And that's where we do all our pressing and our fermentations and our winemaking. And then we bring them up to Modesto and we bottle. But east of Livingston is one of my favorite places in the whole wide world, and it's a place called Cal Ranch. And Cal Ranch is a 35-acre ranch that used to be 6 adjacent dairies, and then it was an apple farm. And in the early 90s, it became a vineyard. And we grow a lot of our Barefoot wines at Cal Ranch. And Cal Ranch is special because it is in the heart of the Central Valley, the heart of California, which sometimes can be hot. However, Cal Ranch has its own unique microclimate because it has a bluff on each side, and it has a Merced River running through it. So there's this, it has its own climate happening, and the grapes are a little bit cooler, and they just come out a little bit nicer. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place to grow grapes. The Merced River actually originates in Yosemite Valley National Park. So it's just, it's a special spot, and I feel fortunate to get to go there all the time. Did everybody get their Cabernet? No? Are we working on it? Okay, good. Okay, so next, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our signature cocktails. Who here has blended a wine or a champagne cocktail before? It's fun, right? It's a little bit more special. Just one? I know the Barefooters have. Okay, of course, thank you. So the first cocktail we're gonna blend today is a fun drink that we call the Palma Grigio. And I mentioned it earlier. I mentioned that Barefoot Bubbly Pinot Grigio is the only Pinot Grigio champagne coming out of California. And we call it the Palma Grigio because it's blended with pomegranate juice. So we thought that the name was pretty appropriate and cute and fun at the same time. But I love this drink because it's actually, notice how I'm keeping my finger over the hood? so no one gets popped in the eye. what I like about the Pinot Grigio bubbly and the Palma Grigio is that